Hello and welcome to Screen Matter, an entertainment and technology-focused visual podcast by Garrett Chisholm and Sean Walters, college students both majoring in emerging media and digital arts. Join us as we talk amongst ourselves, discovering new influences, analyzing upcoming concepts, and unveiling creative inspirations. Do you know Free Guy at all, the movie?
No.
Have you seen any kind of advertising for this movie?
No, I haven't. In fact, I don't even know where I'd see it.
It takes place. It's Ryan Reynolds. Do you know Ryan Reynolds?
No, I'm not too familiar with
He plays Deadpool.
Yeah, that's more familiar now.
Yeah. So it takes place in an online open world video game, and the main character is an NPC who becomes aware that the world is a video game. That's what the movie is about.
Huh.
Yeah. So then he starts doing like player kind of things, you know. They're actually like, I think they're wearing glasses, and that's how they go into the game, or like that's how he can see the game world. Is he takes one of the players' glasses and puts it on, and then he can see that the whole world is just a video game.
Gotcha.
And then he takes steps to become a hero and like save the game or something like that. I didn't care enough to look any further than that, but it was an interesting idea, kind of. I mean, it reminds me of what other movies are kind of like that? Like Wreck-It Ralph a little bit, where it's in a video game or something like that. And Kanye West is the glitch.
What was the, you remember Pixels?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was interesting.
I didn't watch that movie. Did you?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't remember too much about it.
That's good. That's for the better.
Was it not a good movie?
I don't think so.
I don't remember
Let's
it
look.
being a good movie.
Pixels 2015,
Pixels.
17% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was universally hated. Adam Sandler at his prime. But he was in Uncut Gems.
Good old Adam Sandler.
And Uncut Gems, though, that was an interesting dark comedy. Did you hear any buzz around that movie, Uncut Gems?
No.
Last year? No.
I didn't. I've never heard of it.
Well. Oh, here we go. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3 rumors. Have you seen anything about these Spider-Man 3 rumors? Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are rumored to be joining up with Tom Holland in Spider-Man 3, in Marvel's Spider-Man 3 movie. MCU Direct tweeted an article from thedirect.com where they've been talking about how there's a lot of theories going around and rumors around Spider-Man 3, especially after Jamie Foxx said he'd be returning as Electro, and he played Electro in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was with Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
Didn't Tobey Maguire say he was open to doing a superhero role again at some point?
He might have. I think I remember something like that happening, maybe.
I remember we talked about that.
And Jamie Foxx he was on a rampage, man. He said he was returning as Electro, and then he even shared Spider-Verse fan art to like kind of just make it seem more like they're actually doing a Spider-Verse kind of thing for the third Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland, where they're going to bring back Spider-Man from other dimensions, like Tobey Maguire in his dimension of being Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield's in The Amazing Spider-Man. And then they also confirmed that Doctor Strange would appear as a mentor, so Doctor Strange might have something to do with like the realities or something like that, you know? And
it seems like an interesting idea.
Yeah, and Fandom Wire said Maguire and Garfield signed on to reprise their roles. Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel, said he was interested. And then here's the best part. Sony's response when E.T. Canada reached out to Sony Pictures. Here's what they said. Those rumored castings are not confirmed.
Not confirmed.
Yeah, they just said not confirmed.
They didn't
deny it.
That doesn't deny or confirm anything.
Yeah.
That's basically not even a statement.
It lets us know that they're maybe it's true. You think this is true? That Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield from previous Spider-Man films are coming for this third one to be like
you can't rule it out.
Spider-Man?
You can't rule it out.
Didn't you saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, right? The animated Sony movie?
I watched the first 10 minutes.
Oh, I thought you watched the whole thing.
No.
Oh shit.
Is it still on Netflix?
I don't know, dude. I don't have Netflix.
Because I should probably watch that at some point.
Oh yeah, the animation in it. You know how like cool the animation in it is, right?
Yeah, I experienced the art style. I watched the first 10 minutes, so I kind of got a grasp.
Like, do you remember that like weird kind of low frame rate? They were kind of doing that style with like the low frame rate animation.
I actually enjoyed it.
We're gonna get back to that low frame rate animation later, if we even get to it right now.
Okay,
we'll see. That's basically the big chunk for film and television. Now let's just talk about what we've been watching in film and television recently. Do you remember what you put?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at it right now.
My Hero
Academia is what I'm watching.
Yeah.
I'm an anime guy, so that's what I'm watching.
And what is that even about? Because I've always heard about it, but I don't know anything about it at all, really.
It's a very, very popular anime in both Japan and America. And it's about a boy who has no superpowers in a society where everybody has superpowers. And he's like one of the only kids in this society. He's one of the only people in this society that don't have a superpower.
Oh wow.
And he wants to be a hero as a career. And his whole life everyone told him that he could never become a superhero because he doesn't have any powers. And then he ends up meeting the like biggest superhero known to man, All Might, and he comes along and passes down his power to him, and he becomes this absolute powerhouse with this amazing power, and it's just really interesting to watch. It's very emotional.
Spoilers, dude.
No, that's not a spoiler. They introduce that within like the first 2 episodes.
Yeah. Once you get to season 13, it gets really good. The first 12 seasons are all right, but season 13, when it really kicks off. Wow, are they still making this show? Are they still like, they're still going to make like another season?
Of what?
Of My Hero Academia?
There are 4 seasons out right now. And
and it just came out last year.
Yeah. They're actively updating this show. The show is relatively recent.
You think there's definitely going to be a season 5? Yeah?
Oh yeah, I think it's confirmed.
I wonder how long it's going to go on for.
I think how
many seasons do you think there's going to be?
Well, the manga is not even finished. Usually the anime goes till the manga ends.
They're still writing the manga?
Yeah, they're still writing the manga. The manga's several seasons ahead of the show.
Oh.
So maybe I'll get into reading the manga, although I'm not usually a manga guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
gotta read the manga.
That reminds me of books and reading books. Can you imagine reading a book? And remember Ready Player One?
That was one of the that's one of your favorite books, right?
Yeah, and I didn't know this. They're making Ready Player 2. They're writing he's writing a book. Ernest Cline is writing
that sounds like a meme.
And it's coming out like November 24th, 2020. That's crazy.
That's pretty hype, actually.
That is.
That's kind of like Overwatch 2, where it just sounds like a meme when you read it out.
Yeah. Man, what happened to Overwatch 2?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I haven't heard anything about it. Nobody knows.
For things that I've been watching in film and television, oh god, this is kind of weird. I watched quite a bit of shows, actually. I watched Homecoming. You remember Mr. Robot, right? I was always talking about Mr. Robot.
Yeah, we watched an episode or 2 together.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I saw that Sam Esmail, the director for a lot of Mr. Robot, and he wrote it, made an Amazon Prime original series called Homecoming, and he also had the cinematographer for Mr. Robot, Todd Campbell, join him in making this first season for the show called Homecoming on Amazon Prime. And I watched both seasons of that, and it was all right. And then I watched The Boys. Have you seen any advertising around The Boys, Amazon Prime original series?
Yes, I have, because I actively use Amazon.
Yeah, that show is incredible. That's a great show. It's like them. It's them making fun of superheroes. Like the guy that it's based on a comic book series. From what I remember, it's based on a comic book series. I know that for sure. And the guy that made the comic book series hates superheroes. And so he made this comic book series that's just all about shitting all over superheroes. and it's just hilarious. They're making fun of like Marvel all the time and just making fun of like superhero tropes. It's great. Watched 2 seasons in that. They're making a 3rd season, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure that's confirmed. And then I watched
as a Marvel fan.
Huh?
As a Marvel fan, that'd be pretty interesting to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely. They poke a lot of fun at DC, especially with their Justice League movie that flopped a couple years ago. And then I watched The Tick because I was watching. Do you ever do this where you watch something, like a movie or a show or something? Even though I know you probably don't watch that much movies.
No,
television.
I'm not actively watching television.
But like, what I'll do is when I watch, like I watched The Boys. I loved the first season. The 2nd season wasn't out yet, and I looked up like YouTube videos of people just talking about The Boys. That was something that I did, and I ran into the channel that I watch frequently that does podcasts on movies, and they were talking about how it's similar to The Tick, and The Tick was an interesting show as well that I watched. There's 2 seasons of that. It's weird. They made the first season in 2016. I think they weren't gonna do a 2nd season, but then they did in 2018. And then it got canceled after that, even though it has really highly rated like scores and stuff like that. Wow, but that's a pretty funny superhero. It's way more silly, even though it seems so silly that it'd be for kids. But there's actually like F words and stuff in it. There's language in it. It's very surprising. And then I watched very recently 13 Reasons Why. I watched the first 3 seasons.
Talked about that earlier.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day.
We talked about how my mom wouldn't let my sister watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I got to find out for myself.
I watched the first 3 seasons. I wasn't dying to watch every episode like I was with like The Boys, for example, but it was still really good. No. Each episode is an hour long, and there's 13 episodes each season. So it's a lot. 13 hours for the first season, and 13 hours for the 2nd season, 13 hours for the 3rd season, and I think 13 hours for the 4th season, which I haven't watched the 4th season. I was going to watch it, and then I didn't have the motivation to watch it, so I kind of just paused the 4th season right after the first episode. I didn't even finish the first episode of it, actually. And then, even more recently, I've just been watching the Eric Andre show, because season 5 just started, and I've just been watching old Eric Andre stuff that I have, and that stuff's classic. That stuff's great. Some of the backstory.
Eric Andre with The Boys. There's something I should do.
Season 5, so good. He like there's like this really good bit where he's dressed up as a cop, and you know how cops have body cams? Yeah. He runs into a video store, like a tech store, all frantically and scared, and he's like, "Hey man, can you erase the footage off this body cam, man? I don't have a lot of time." and then he has like this brown bag full of money, and it's money covered in blood, and he just dumps it out on the guy's desk, and he's like, "Here, man, take this money."
He's got to get rid of the evidence.
Yeah. It's so good.
That sounds great.
And then I also watched a couple of classic movies from the 80s, War Games and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, both starring Matthew Broderick. I have a fun little piece of trivia. So, do you remember Matthew Broderick at all in Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Like, do you remember that movie at all? The main character?
Yeah, I watched it.
In Ferris Bueller's Day Off, he has this sister, right? And in real life, he was actually dating her. And they were in like Scotland, I think, and they got into an accident. She was in the passenger seat and he was driving, and I think he was driving on the wrong side of the road, and they got into an accident and they killed the 2 people in the other car.
Wow.
Yeah.
That just get covered up?
Kind of, yeah. I think he was going to get in a lot of trouble, like do time or something like that, but he only ended up getting fined like $175 or something like that.
$175 for 2 people's lives. That's ridiculous.
I need to double check this because that doesn't sound right now that I repeat it for like the 4th time.
Yeah, don't quote us on that one.
In 1987, and the actress's name was Jennifer Grey. That was the girl that played his sister in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And this is, you know what's funny too? This is how the world found out that they were dating. Is that
through this
he got
lawsuit?
into a car crash? He got into the car crash. Yeah.
It's public record, huh?
Yeah.
What year did this car crash happen?
1987.
Oh, that's a long time.
Oh my god, I remember it right. That's hilarious. He was charged with causing death by dangerous driving and faced up to 5 years in jail. He was later convicted for careless driving and fined $175 for the accident.
Did he serve 5 years in jail? Or he paid way more. He probably got bailed out.
Yeah, I don't know the details in this article. It's telling me on, what was that? Mamamia.com. Wow. You know what's funny though? That other movie that I mentioned that has Matthew Broderick in it, War Games, I feel like you would like that, even though you don't watch movies, but it has a cool premise to it where he's like, it's Matthew Broderick, he's the main character, and he's really into computers. And he's trying to, there's like these new computer games that are coming out, and this is in 1983, remember? And there were like these new computer games coming out, and he wanted to get access to them before they were available to the public. So he was like dialing up all the computers in like the area of that company to try to find their computer that had the games in it. And he accidentally dials up a government computer that like plays games to learn strategy to predict World War III or something like that. It's a wild movie, but I bet you would like it because it's a lot of like that old computer technology, and I also love that stuff. I feel like you like it.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, that'd be really interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's so cool seeing how that like old tech worked back in 1983. It's so interesting. He has like a phone plugged into his computer dialing numbers.
Some nostalgia.
To communicate with other computers. It's great. So that's it for this episode of Screen Matter. If you'd like to help support the podcast and stay updated on newly released content, please follow or subscribe. If you would like to follow and learn more about us individually, Garrett is at Garrett Chiz on Instagram and Twitter, and Sean is at Software Damage on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. We want to thank you for listening, and we hope to see you come by next time for more Screen Matter.